I'm going to share my story and how I got so involved in the Latino community, and also la razón en la cual yo hablo español como si fuera dominicana. Ya tú sabes, rubia dominicana, aquí con sabor y flow. But for real, I want to share my experience about what being connected to the work that I've done in the Dominican Republic, the Latino community, the Hispanic community, how it has changed my life for the better. And maybe we can learn something from this, to have an open mind to difference, because if it was not for difference, I would be probably dead. And I'm not exaggerating. I grew up in a very tumultuous home structure place, for lack of better words. I've shared all of this information on my podcast. I grew up in complex trauma, neglect, and abuse, and there was a lot of psychological abuse. I never felt safe in family, even though I had people in my family that loved me and that cared for me. The danger that was also within that family hindered me from receiving that love because I never felt safe. And so when I ended up starting my work, doing just short-term mission trips with the church, it was the first time I got invited to do a trip like this. And I went to Tijuana, Mexico. And I remember being so overwhelmed by the change of culture. It was the first time I went out of the country by myself, let alone out of the country, period. Other than like when I was a kid with my parents one time that I can remember. It was like the big one vacation we did. And that was a huge deal. I was brand new in the world, and it was the first time I saw a gun, and I went, I'm gonna die. But what I experienced was that was the first time I'd ever experienced anything that I would call like an encounter with God, or a higher thought, or something that was from my soul. And I didn't want to do it because I felt overwhelmed. I was kind of ready to go home because in a lot of ways I was kind of scared as a kid, a 12-year-old, 13-year-old. And I remember hearing, your life is going to be in service and it's going to be in Spanish. And I remember being like, whoa, hold on. I don't like this. Like, I was overwhelmed by the culture because it was so different from what I knew. And it was only a week that we were there. And we got our car broken into and passports stolen and all these things that it was so much. And I went, wait, I don't, can we talk about this? Like, can we negotiate? So the following year, I ended up taking a class to learn Spanish in my high school. It was the only class in my high school that I failed, like epic F fail. Did not pass this class. So I went, okay, clearly that was not, I don't know what that was, but that wasn't me. And so I'm not able to learn the language. I can't do that. But I kept going back, and I had so many experiences that impacted me in the Dominican Republic. I remember being at a children's orphanage with a little girl that I'll never forget. Her name was Alma, or is Alma, and she shared her story with me. And part of her story was her hesitancy to get close to people because people always leave. That she couldn't trust the safety of connection, and that she was surviving on her own from such a young age. I believe she was 6 at the time. And I had to say goodbye to her, knowing that I had to leave. And I think I was 16 at the time. I was 16 or 17. And we were saying our goodbyes. And she had opened up to me, and we had built this beautiful relationship. And I have a picture of her sleeping on my chest, where she had painted my face like a clown or like all over my face, and she had been telling me all these stories about her brother and her mom, and I had really I was trying so hard to like understand her, and she would go like break it down in this like, you're dumb way, but she was trying so hard to connect with me. And I thought the last day I was with her, she had a fever, and I thought she was asleep. And they were saying like, say your goodbyes, we have to go. And I felt her start shaking, and I looked down, and she wasn't asleep, she was crying. And I knew her story, and I was going to be another person who left her. And I will never forget her face when she told me, por eso que yo no me acerco a la gente. porque la gente se va. La gente me deja. La gente no me quiere. La gente me abandona. And I told her I would come back to her. She said, I don't get close. This is why I don't get close to people, because people leave. People abandon you. People leave you. And I told her I would come back. And when I came back, her mother had picked her up, not knowing that she had been given to this orphanage because she was involved in other illegal things. And I never saw her again. And I made a commitment to her that if I was going to do this work, I was going to learn the language. I was going to learn the culture. I was going to learn the right way to do this. And that this was meaningful work that I wanted to do. And I will never forget her face when I left. It changed me. I experienced in the Dominican Republic what is the best of humanity. We make extra food every single time we cook because somebody is going to come over and eat. I remember a woman who, she was in her 90s. She lived on the side of this little house, and her whole family had really passed away, but the community took care of her. And so when we had a construction team come in, we said, we're going to do something for her. We're going to paint her house. Every time we went to see her, no matter where she was at, she literally grew vegetables to make a living because that's the only thing she could do. And she was supporting herself from that. And everybody would watch out for her. And she would always say, pobre pero feliz, right? Like we have everything we need because we're happy. And every time we saw her, she would somehow come up with coffee to give to us. I have been supported. I have been protected. I have been loved on by the community in a way that I have not deserved. It was just the natural response. I have grown as a person by witnessing the strength of the women that hold the families up, no matter what the chaotic environments are. I have experienced the beauty of culture, of story, of ancestors, of music, of dance. Dancing bachata and salsa has been an alter ego, fun, sensual experience for me to play in life. Everything in my life has gotten better because Latinos and Hispanic human beings are in it. They are I have met some of the most incredible people with the most incredible stories because I was willing to get in the dirt to meet them in what is a place that people often look past and aren't willing to see. We are so ungrateful for the work that these people suffer through on a daily basis. The people that support our country, the people that feed you. Are you gonna go and work the line cook position? Are you gonna go feed the restaurant of 70 tables that just flooded in? You know how hard these people work? You know how hot it is back there? Do you know what it's like to pick vegetables in the sun and be covered in pesticides and reactions because of the fact that you are doing the work that nobody else will do for an unsustainable wage? Do you know how hard these people work? How many people I know personally that have at least 3 jobs and never complain and yet are the most generous people and will give you the shirt off their backs if you need it? People that celebrate just to celebrate, people who love because that's who they are. I am so thankful that I can share because I've earned the right and learned the right and said this is a priority. It took me 2 years and I kicked my butt to learn so that I could then go back, do internships, live there, and commit to, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to be here 100%. We are ungrateful for the beauty that is the Latino and Hispanic community. And I wanted to share my story because I'm so tired of this narrative as if they are criminals and monsters when they are truly the best of us.